We doing everything they talk about. You know I'm everything a boss about. Not putting work and gotta toss them out. I'm really biting, they just barking out. I'm really riding, they just talking now. His street, what to talk about. See the big H when I'm walking out.
Hey, before we start the show, I just want to say thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, share the video with a friend. This is Base Coverage, and we talk European League of Football. Yes, this is Base Coverage, and we do talk European League of Football. Thank you all for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, like with a friend. Continue to join the locker room, support us, and we appreciate you guys as per usual. It's been a fun week. It's been an interesting week. Had the opportunity to go on the ELF live show, talk a little bit about the week 2 breakdown, which was fun to chop it up with my guy Matt Brezzi and my guy Nick Alfieri, the GOAT when it comes to all this video production, and one of the hosts of ELF Live with Silas and Sita. So that was a good opportunity. I always appreciate going on and chopping up with you guys. As you can see by the title, Deja Vu in Innsbruck, but that's not the only thing we're going to dive into. We're going to dive into most recent news and signings. By the way, comment on one of my last videos wanting me to dive into more signings. I saw it, I acknowledge it, and that's what we're going to do. Like I said, I like chopping it up. Any ideas you guys have, always take into consideration. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the latest news in the league, some of the things that has been happening, and some news that was broken but haven't really had the opportunity to touch up on. So definitely wanted to take the opportunity to dive into that. We will be playing the championship in Stuttgart, Germany. Now, mixed opinions on this. One, this is going to be the 4th city in 5 years that the championship game has been in Germany. Obviously, it's been a huge success. I'm not here to doubt it, criticize it, or go against it, but makes me wonder, was the Austrian experience in year 2 that bad of a letdown, financially, from the fans, game, whatever, that the league is kind of hesitant to kind of dive into new cities? This is the European League of Football. We would love to see games in other countries that can draw a big crowd. I think one of the biggest things that might have happened with the year 2 championship game in Austria is, obviously there was some connection with 28 Black, who was a sponsor. I don't think they no longer are a sponsor. It was a stadium that was kind of hard to get into. You kind of had to go through Graz, or, it was real close for Vienna. But again, they own that right. They made it to the championship. But there's plenty of other cities out there that can host a championship game, could draw a big crowd, can easily get to transportation wise. And I'm happy for Stuttgart. I'm happy for the turnaround. I'm happy that the fans are going to get the opportunity to host this game. I'm happy to see a complete 360 from their first 2 years to where they are now. I am happy for Stuttgart. I'm not here to say this is a bad location, but there are definitely some other locations in 2026 I would like to lead to consider outside of Germany. Probably my top 2 locations for 2026. Let's go to Spain. Let's go to Spain. Barcelona, Madrid, doesn't matter. That is a great atmosphere. That's a great destination. You're gonna get a big draw. People, like to go to those places. That would be a great spot to host a national ELF championship game. Another one, Paris. Paris, beautiful, beautiful country, big stadium. That is a destination spot for a European League championship game. Easy to get to. Very, very close to like a lot of countries. There are a lot of different ways you could go about this, but Spain, Barcelona, Madrid, doesn't matter. Paris, there's an opportunity. And if you wanted to take a chance to dive back into Austria, go to Innsbruck. To this day, I will go on record and say the Tyrol Raiders might have the best stadium, homegrown stadium, not one of these stadiums that they play in, like, soccer stadiums or bigger stadiums. Naturally homegrown stadium. And they have the capacity to host a championship game, and it's fairly easy to get to, way easier than where we were year 2 in the ELF. So let me know at locker room. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment. Where do you want to see the championship game in 2026? All right, there's a lot of great spots in Germany, but let's hope that the league dies a little bit outside of Germany and expands their horizon in that capacity. All right. Next thing I wanted to dive into, the league is growing its viewership. And how are they doing it? They officially launched an app with Amazon Fire TV. So the European League of Football, if you have Amazon Fire, you could get it and launch the app and watch ELF games. Now, this is huge. This is huge for viewership because now you're diving into that American territory, that American fan base, to help grow the game, to help Obviously, we got imports from America and the States playing over here. Like, it's only going to continue and gain that viewership. If you could gain viewership from the U.S., this is only going to increase your league. The European League of Football is killing and crushing the markets in regards to viewership. And now you just dive into an app where there's 50 million viewers just naturally using Amazon Fire. That was a great move by the league. They always continue to find ways to get into these big marketing deals, whether it's with trading cards or fantasy or even like Amazon Fire. I thought this was great. This is a great opportunity to attempt to dive back into the American market. They did. They tried to do it in year 2. I don't think it was a big success. I forgot the name of the company they tried it with, but great job by the league. I'm excited to see how that pans out and excited to see, where it goes in that capacity. So good for the league and diving into the viewership with Amazon Fire, which is huge. All right. Now what we all been waiting for. Latest news has been dropping. Some is still trickling in today, but we're just going to dive a little bit into what we've been seeing thus far. And that is a lot of movement changes. A lot of movement changes, and I'm excited to dive into it. So obviously, one of the things that caught my attention was Helvetic. The Helvetic Mercenaries release receiver, I'm going to butcher his name, Anton Kalom. I apologize if I butchered your name, but that's something I don't like to see. I'm assuming that they have a plan, just because we have to develop the Mercenaries have to develop their offense more. We all know O-line burnt out. We need other weapons outside next to go along and complement Anthony fucking Brown, aka AFB. Carlton is going to need more weapons to throw to, so to say. Running game, I think the running game is not in a bad situation. I think obviously there's still areas of improvement. They can't just rely on Carlton to run the ball, but we'll see how it happens. But on the flip side, this is a huge signing. You bring in a natural European safety in Kevin Fortis, played for one of the best defenses in the Hamburg Sea Devils, for probably historically best statistic defense in the European League of Football. You add him to that backfield. You pair him up with Nazir. You pair him up with Ken Hike. And Helvetic got a defense. We got depth on the D-line. You got depth at linebacker. You got a back seven. You got some DBs, and you could be interchangeable with those guys. Helvetic has a defense. Now, if we get that offense going, it's going to be interesting to see where we could take this next step. I think there's still some moves that can be made. Hopefully they still consider, but we'll see. But this is a great signing by Helvetic. Some of the other things I wanted to dive into, and obviously this was the big one, the Raiders of Tyrol. All right. So I'm not here to speculate. I'm not here to break any news. I'm here to morally so to react and get my reaction of what goes on around the league. Releasing D'Angelo Fulford after week 2 didn't sit well with me for a number of reasons. One, this was handpicked by the coaching staff. This was their guy. You had all offseason all training camp to evaluate him. Decent game week 1, bad game week 2, and it just seems like they cut the cord on him quick. Now, this tells me there has to be something brewing behind the scenes that we don't know about. And I don't want to dive too much into stuff that I don't know or speculate about. But to cut a guy after week 2 doesn't even sound like you really gave him a chance to even prove if he could bounce back from I didn't think it was a terrible performance, but obviously there was some areas of opportunity he could perform from. So, we'll see how that reacts and how that comes together, so to say. Sorry. One of the things, again, they bring in Casey Martin from their ALF team, right? And he's just a stopgap. He's going to be here for week 1 while it seems like they've already signed their guy. But when you look at the statement and what they put out, it seems like Casey Martin was always the plan in case they were to run in this type of situations. So is it a good plan to have a backup quarterback ready? Yes. But it just seems like D'Angelo was playing behind the 8 ball from the beginning. It seems like, I don't know if he even got a fair opportunity. I don't know if he got a fair shot. And granted, this is a new coaching staff. Same ownership as last year, new coaching staff. This is the fourth. They're going on their fourth quarterback in less than a year. This is not the Raiders we once knew. We'll see how it pans out. Again, obviously we saw what happened last year. We're seeing what's happening this year. Granted, it's a new coaching staff, but it seems like it's the same, certain circumstances. So we'll see how it happens. But this one didn't sit well for me. I thought he at least deserved an opportunity to at least get this guy a quarter of the season. But there's a saying, if you know, you know. It seems like they knew. We'll see how it pans out. But ultimately, if they got the right guy, they prove us wrong. So be it. But that's just what we have to wait and see. Ryan Fire, Calvin McKnight injured. They're bringing in another familiar guy from the Istanbul Rams, Devin Haskell. He was a good dude, good threat, wide receiver threat, big body receiver. It'd be interesting to see how he does the second stint. I know he was playing with Mexico. I released a video early in the year about some guys you could see in this league before week 5. There's still some more guys out there. And interesting, they went with Devin Haskell, who was playing with Matty Vitale. There's a couple maybe quarterback positions opening. We'll see what happens. But Devin Haskell joins the Ryan Fire, and I like it. It's a physical receiver, big body receiver. He's got to pair well with Harlan, Kofi, and the gang over there. So one of the more surprising things is Prague. Trevor Fields-Jackson, their American wide receiver, goes on the IR, but they don't sign an American receiver. Trevor Fields-Jackson, their American receiver, goes on IR, but they don't sign an American receiver. So a lot's going to ride on, a lot of the homegrown guys this week. We'll see how they go about it. Whether they still have someone today or tomorrow, still yet to be determined. But we'll see. Or maybe they'll have – Daniel Wright's hurt too. So they're going to have their new corner play both ways. Yet to be determined. But we'll see. But there was some news breaking today, and I wanted to make sure I got onto it and talk a little about it. But locker room. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment. Who do you want to see in the league? What do you think about the Raiders situation? Where do you want the European League of Football championship game in 2026 to be? All right. And what do you think about the viewership of the league signing with Amazon Fire, launching the app? We'll see. Drop a comment, like the video, share with a friend. I appreciate all your support. Continue to join in. Tomorrow, week 3, we got predictions, and we got a showdown in Paris.
Nobody. Hard work, they don't know about it. Hard work, they don't know about it. Hard work, they don't know about it. Animal.